There's something quietly powerful about a single day. A sunrise, a breath, a small decision that feels insignificant in the moment, yet slowly shapes the direction of your life. People often think their life changes because of big events, a breakthrough, a promotion, a sudden moment of clarity. But the truth is softer, simpler, and far more beautiful. Your life is built one day at a time, one choice at a time, one intention at a time, one mindful use of your 24 hours. We tend to underestimate a day because it feels so ordinary. Nothing dramatic, nothing monumental. Just the usual 24 hours we wake up with again and again. But what if I told you that these 24 hours carry everything you need to change your life? Welcome to Speak English Corner, a place where we explore self-growth, calm, clarity, and the inner transformation that begins with the smallest shifts in your daily habits. Today's episode is called Make Your 24 Hours Count. And instead of pushing hustle culture or forcing productivity, what we'll explore today is a gentler, wiser question. How can you spend your day in a way that supports the life you actually want? Not in a way that drains you, not in a way that pressures you, but in a way that makes you feel aligned, present, and intentionally moving forward. We all have the same 24 hours. Yet our lives look so different. When you look around, you'll see people rushing through their days as if time is chasing them. You'll see others drifting, letting their hours evaporate without noticing. And then you'll see the people who quietly rise, who grow steadily, who build their dreams piece by piece. It's not because they have more time. It's not because they're more gifted. It's not because their life is easier. It's because they've learned the art of using their hours with intention. They understand something most people overlook. The quality of your day is the quality of your life. If your days are scattered, your life feels scattered. If your days are overwhelmed, your life feels heavy. If your days are filled with distractions, your future becomes blurry. But if your days are purposeful, your future becomes meaningful. If your days carry clarity, your life becomes organized. If your days are spent with presence, your journey becomes peaceful. This is why understanding your 24 hours is not just about productivity, it's about identity, direction, and alignment. One day is enough to redirect your entire path. People often ask, how can I change my life? How do I become disciplined? How do I stay consistent? And the answer is always the same. Start with one day. Don't worry about 30 days. Don't worry about the whole year. Don't worry about the endlessly large future. Just today. Just these 24 hours. Just this moment. If you can make today meaningful, you can repeat it tomorrow. If you can repeat it tomorrow, you can repeat it for a week. And if you can repeat it for a week, your entire direction begins to shift. Your life doesn't change because you suddenly become a new person. It changes because you begin honoring the time you already have. This episode is not about doing more. It's about being intentional. You don't need to fill your day with dozens of tasks. You don't need to chase unrealistic goals. You don't need to be busy to feel accomplished. Busyness is not progress. Movement is not momentum. Noise is not purpose. What makes your 24 hours count is clarity. It's the awareness to ask yourself what truly matters today. What action will move my life forward? Which part of my day deserves my attention? And just as important, what can I let go of so I can make space for what matters more? In a world full of distractions and pressure, Intention becomes your compass. And when you guide your day with intention, everything becomes lighter, calmer, and more meaningful. As we enter this episode together, I want you to slow down. Take a breath. Feel the weight of today, not as pressure, but as potential. These 24 hours are not random. They're not accidental. They're not insignificant. They are the building blocks of your future self. They are the canvas on which you paint your life. They are the quiet power that, if used well, can transform everything. So today, let's explore how to make your hours meaningful without rushing, how to bring intention into your day without stress, and how to use your time not perfectly, but wisely. Because when you learn to make your 24 hours count, you learn to make your whole life count. Asterisk if you ask people why they struggle with their goals, why they can't stay consistent, or why their life feels stuck, most will give you the same answer. I don't have enough time. It sounds reasonable. After all, we live in a fast world. Endless notifications, constant stimulation, 1,000 things competing for our attention. But here's the quiet truth. We rarely admit it's not that we don't have enough time. It's that our time is leaking away silently, invisibly, with us barely noticing. Every day, a few minutes here, a few distractions there, a moment of scrolling, a moment of delaying, and suddenly the day is over. Not because life is too short, but because our attention is too divided. Let's explore why. 24 hours feels like it disappears before we even begin to use it. First, we mistake movement for progress. Most people spend their day busy, but not productive. We rush between tasks, we multitask, we switch between apps, we jump from idea to idea. There's a lot of movement, but no direction. A lot of noise, but no depth. This is why you can spend an entire day doing things and still feel like nothing meaningful happened. Busyness steals your time because it tricks your mind into believing you've achieved something even when you haven't. It's like running on a treadmill instead of moving forward on a road. You're expending energy, but you're staying exactly where you are. Second, the mind burns time through overthinking. Another hidden drain is mental clutter. We think and think and think, but rarely decide. We replay old conversations. We imagine future problems. We doubt ourselves. We procrastinate by analyzing too much. And while it feels like we're preparing, what we're really doing is letting time slip through our fingers. Overthinking is the thief that steals ours. Without making a sound, you don't notice it, disappearing until the day is over and you wonder where all the time went. Third, multitasking fractures your attention. We often believe multitasking will save us time, but the opposite is true. Every time you switch tasks, your brain must reset, dropping one thought and picking up another. That tiny switch costs mental energy and creates cognitive friction. Do it once. No problem. Do it 50, 100 times a day. And suddenly the brain is tired, the focus is scattered, and the hours feel shorter. The more you multitask, the more your 24 hours shrink. Deep focus expands time. Scattered attention compresses it. Fourth, decision fatigue exhausts your mental bandwidth. Even simple decisions. What should I eat? What should I wear? Should I do this now or later? Should I start or wait? Should I message this person back? Should I check my phone? Every tiny decision drains energy. By noon, we are out of mental fuel, not because the day is long, but because our mind has already used up its strength on small, unnecessary choices. This is why routines matter. This is why clarity matters. This is why intention matters. When you know what matters, you stop wasting time on things that Dan single quotes. Fifth, digital distractions are designed to steal your hours. Let's be honest. Phones, apps, notifications, they're not neutral tools. They are engineered to capture your attention. And once they have it, they keep it. A quick check becomes 5 minutes. 5 minutes becomes 20. 20 becomes, I'll just do it tomorrow. Your brain never intended to waste the day on scrolling or noise, but distraction feels easy, while intention feels demanding and without awareness. Our time quietly disappears into the digital void. Sixth, we don't lose time, we lose presence. This is the deepest truth. Time feels short when you are not in it, when your mind is distracted. Time slips away unnoticed. But when your mind is present, time stretches, it becomes fuller, richer, more meaningful. Think about moments when you were deeply immersed in something. A meaningful conversation, a creative project, a peaceful walk. Time felt slower, right? That's because presence expands your experience of the moment. Lack of presence compresses. You're 24 hours into a blur, so why does 24 hours feel short? Because modern life steals your attention without you realizing it. Because your mind is overwhelmed with noise and decisions. Because distractions fracture your focus. Because you're living in reaction, not intention. But the good news is this: when you reclaim your attention, you reclaim your time. And when you reclaim your time, you reclaim your life. The goal isn't to force yourself to use every minute perfectly. That only creates pressure. The goal is much simpler, much softer. Bring presence to your day. Bring clarity to your decisions. Bring intention to your actions. When you do that, you'll be amazed by how much time you truly have. There is a moment in your day, a quiet, precious moment, when your mind finally stops running, your distractions soften, and you feel yourself sink into a deeper rhythm of focus. Some people call it flow. Some call it presence. Some call it being in the zone. But I like to call it deep work. The state where clarity meets action, where intention becomes momentum, and where your 24 hours truly begin to count for something meaningful. Most people never reach this state, not because they're incapable, but because their day is too noisy for depth to appear. But once you learn how to enter it gently, consistently, your entire relationship with time changes. Deep work is where progress stops being accidental and starts being inevitable. First, deep work is the opposite of busyness. Busyness is scattered. Deep work is intentional. Busyness is reactive. Deep work is deliberate. Busyness makes you feel like you're running. Deep work makes you feel like you're advancing. The difference is subtle but life-changing. When you're busy, your attention jumps like a restless bird. Notifications pull you forward. Thoughts drag you backward, and you end the day feeling drained. But when you're in deep work, your attention becomes anchored. You're fully here, fully alive, fully focused on what matters, and in that state, 1 hour can achieve what 5 hours of distracted effort never could. Second, deep work feels like slipping beneath the noise. Imagine the mind as an ocean at the surface. The waves are loud, choppy, chaotic. That's the world of notifications, multitasking, and mental clutter. But beneath the surface, the water becomes calm, quiet, steady. This deeper layer is where your real strength hides your creativity, your clarity, your ability to think deeply, your power to build something meaningful. Most people live on the surface their entire day, never diving below the noise. But deep work is the moment you choose to sink beneath the waves and reconnect with the quiet power inside you. It's not intense. It's not rushed. It's not forced. It's a gentle drop into your true focus. Third, deep work happens when intention meets structure. You don't fall into deep work accidentally. You enter it through a small doorway, a single, clear intention. What is the one thing I want to do today? What truly matters right now? What deserves my full presence? Then you create the environment that invites your mind to go deeper. One task, one time frame, one quiet space, one focused mind. This doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be simple. Humans are not built for multitasking. We are built for depth. We simply forgot how to access it. But with clarity and a gentle structure, deep work becomes natural. Fourth, deep work transforms minutes into meaning. There is something magical about sitting with full attention. Time doesn't feel rushed anymore. You're not fighting the clock. You're not bargaining with distraction. You're simply here, fully engaged. And because of that presence, your effort compounds. A page becomes a chapter. A paragraph becomes an idea. A simple action becomes a habit. A small task becomes progress. Deep work turns ordinary minutes into meaningful steps. This is why people who practice deep work achieve more with less. It's not talent. It's not superhuman discipline. It's simply the ability to give one moment your full attention. Fifth, deep work reconnects you with yourself. In a world full of noise, deep work becomes more than a productivity tool. It becomes a form of peace. When you focus deeply, you escape comparison. You escape judgment. You escape the world's expectations. You come home to your own mind. You discover ideas you didn't know you had. You strengthen confidence you didn't know it was there. You tap into a version of yourself who is calm, capable, and clear. You stop feeling behind because you realize you're finally moving forward in a direction that feels true. Deep work isn't just work. It's alignment. Sixth, you don't need hours. You need depth. Most people believe they need more time to do meaningful things, but time isn't the problem. Depth is. If you can give your day 1 hour of true, present, deep work, not rushed, not distracted, you'll move further than someone who spends the entire day jumping between tasks. Depth is powerful. Depth is rare. Depth is transformative. And the moment you experience it, you'll understand why your 24 hours are enough, more than enough. As we move into the next part, we'll explore how to build a simple, practical daily system that helps you consistently create meaningful progress, because deep work is the state where clarity meets action. But your daily framework is the place where action results. When people think about changing their lives, they often imagine big leaps, dramatic shifts, huge successes, massive breakthroughs. But in reality, the most successful people aren't the ones who make giant moves all the time. They are the ones who master small, consistent actions that compound over days, weeks, and years. And the truth is simple. You don't need a complex system. You just need a gentle, sustainable framework that guides your day, not to control you, not to pressure you, but to support you in using your 24 hours with intention. This is what I call the daily execution framework, a soft structure that helps you show up, focus deeply, and make real progress without overwhelming yourself. Let's walk through each part slowly. First, start with clarity. One important thing. Most people start their day by checking their phone, scrolling, or reacting to something external. By the time they realize it, their morning is already guided by someone else's priorities. But clarity begins with a simple question. What is the one thing that, if I move it forward today, will make my life better? Not 10 things, not a full checklist, just one dot. When you choose the one important thing, you're telling your brain, this matters. This is where my energy should go. This focus immediately removes the day becomes lighter because you're no longer trying to do everything. You're trying to do one thing well. Second, create a deep focus block, 30 to 60 minutes. Once you know the one thing that matters, it's time to create the space for it. Not half work, not switching tasks, not multitasking, just one block of time where your mind can drop into deep work. You can think of it like building a quiet sanctuary in your day. 30 to 60 minutes, one task, no phone, no tabs, no noise. This is enough to make meaningful progress on anything in your life, whether it's learning a skill, building a project, reading, writing, exercising, or planning your future. Depth matters more than duration. 1 hour of deep work can outperform a whole day of distracted effort. Third, remove friction. Make good actions easy. Most people don't fail because they lack motivation. They fail because their environment makes the good things hard and the bad things easy. So let's reverse that. If you want to read more, leave the book on your table. If you want to work out, prepare your clothes the night before. If you want to focus, clean your workspace. If you want to avoid your phone, keep it in another room. Small changes remove friction when good actions become easy. Consistency becomes natural. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on design. Fourth, protect your energy with intentional breaks. Most people push themselves too hard, then crash. But the secret to sustainable productivity isn't working endlessly, it's resting wisely. A focused mind needs pockets of recovery. You can try a 5-minute breathing break, a short walk, a quiet stretch, a moment to look outside, drinking water mindfully. These pauses aren't a waste of time. They're an investment. A calm mind returns to work with double the clarity. When you respect your energy supports your progress. Fifth, end the day with reflection. What moved my life forward? Most people end their day with exhaustion, guilt, or unfinished tasks. But reflection transforms the day into meaning at night. Ask yourself gently, what did I do today that mattered? What small step moved me closer to the life I want? Where did I use my time well? What can I adjust tomorrow? You're not judging yourself. You're learning from yourself. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. It also helps you notice progress, the small wins, the tiny improvements, the invisible growth. This is how momentum builds. Sixth, small actions done daily create big results. You don't need perfect days. You don't need endless motivation. You don't need a rigid system. All you need is one clear intention, one deep focus block, one supportive environment, one mindful break, one reflection moment. That's it, simple, gentle, sustainable. The kind of framework you can follow even on tired days, busy days, or messy days, because your life doesn't change when you do everything perfectly. It changes when you do the small things consistently. This is how big results are born quietly, gradually, one meaningful day at a time. If you pause for a moment and look honestly at your life, you may realize something important. You don't actually need more hours in the day. You don't need an extra morning, an extra evening, or an extra day of the week. What you truly need is better intention, the quiet clarity that tells you where your energy belongs and where it doesn't. Most people don't struggle because they lack time. They struggle because their time is scattered, unprotected, and spent in directions that don't reflect what they truly want. This part of the journey is not about working harder or squeezing more tasks into your 24 hours. It's about gently tuning in to what matters and letting your intentions guide your day like a soft, steady compass. Let's explore this shift together. First, you are not lazy. You are overwhelmed when people say they don't have enough time. What they usually mean is, I have too much noise and too little clarity. You're not lazy. Your mind is simply crowded. Crowded with expectations, crowded with decisions, crowded with tasks that aren't truly yours. When the mind is overwhelmed, it hesitates, it pauses, it distracts itself because it doesn't know where to pour its energy. This is why intention matters. Intention clears the clutter so you can breathe again. Second, you are not unproductive, you're unfocused. Think about the days when you knew exactly what you needed to do. Not a long list. Just one clear direction. Didn't you move forward faster? Didn't your day feel lighter? Didn't your mind feel calmer? That's the power of focus. Lack of productivity is rarely a lack of effort. It's usually a lack of direction. When your intention is clear, your actions become simple, and progress becomes natural. Third, you don't lack discipline. Your environment steals it from you. This is the truth most people overlook. Environment shapes behavior more than motivation ever will. If your phone is next to you, you will reach for it. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will feel scattered. If your day is unstructured, your time will slip away without meaning. But intention changes this. Intention gently reshapes the spaces you live in and the rhythms you follow. A book within reach leads to reading. A prepared desk leads to focus. A planned deep work block leads to consistency. When your environment supports you, discipline becomes effortless. Not forced, not pressured, just natural. Fourth, you don't need a perfect day. You need a meaningful one. Many people waste time, not because they're doing nothing, but because they're chasing an ideal version of productivity. A perfect morning routine, a perfect schedule, a perfect plan. But perfection paralyzes. And while you wait for the perfect day to begin, your actual day slips away quietly. Intention is different. Intention asks you, what is the one thing that will make today meaningful? Not perfect, not impressive, just meaningful. And when you answer that question honestly and gently, you stop trying to win the whole day. You just try to honor it. That's enough. More than enough. Fifth, you don't need more time. You need honest priorities. The hardest part of using your 24 hours well is admitting the truth. You cannot do everything. You cannot please everyone. You cannot chase every opportunity. You cannot live 100 lives at once. But you can choose, and that choice is where your power begins. Ask yourself, what truly matters in my life right now? What supports the future I want? What drains me but gives nothing back? What am I doing out of habit, not intention? When you answer these questions, your day becomes lighter. Your time becomes clearer. Your actions align with your soul, not with noise. Intention is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters and letting go of what doesn't. Single quotes T.6. Your life expands. When your intention deepens, there is something quietly life-changing that happens when you begin living intentionally. You start feeling more present. You start feeling more grounded. You start feeling more in control. Your day stops being something that happens to you and becomes something you shape with your choices. The more intentional you become, the more spacious your life feels, not because you gained extra hours, but because you finally stopped wasting them on things that don't align with who you want to become. Intention gives you power. Intention gives you direction. Intention gives meaning to every moment. You don't need more time. You need to honor the time you already have. And when you do, your days will begin to feel fuller, calmer, and more aligned with the life you are quietly building. When people think about changing their lives, they often imagine a dramatic transformation, a moment where everything shifts, a day where they suddenly become a newer, better, stronger version of themselves. But real change rarely looks like that. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't require a life-changing event. Instead, it begins quietly in the morning light, when you wake up with intention, in the small choice to focus for 20 minutes, in the decision to move one important task forward, in the gentle discipline of honoring your day instead of running through it blindly. A better life is not built in a hurry. It is built in days, simple, meaningful, intentional days. And that's the truth that brings both comfort and power. You don't need to change your whole life today. You just need to change the way you live one day, because one day repeated with intention becomes a week becomes a month becomes a new lifestyle. Your future is not created by overwhelming yourself. Your future is created by showing up calmly, consistently, and with quiet clarity. First, one better day is enough to shift your direction. Your life is like a compass. Even a tiny shift made today can completely change where you end up later. Just a little more focus. Just a little less distraction. Just one deeper moment of work. Just one moment of presence. You don't need perfection. You don't need intensity. You don't need extraordinary discipline. You only need one day that feels intentional, not rushed. Not overwhelmed, but grounded. Once you taste the clarity of a meaningful day, you begin to crave more of it. Not out of pressure, but out of peace. Second, one better day teaches you that you're capable. You know that feeling when you finally do something you've been avoiding for weeks. The lightness, the relief, the gentle pride. That feeling is important because it reminds you, I can do this. I can change. I can build something better. You don't need massive success to believe in yourself. You just need one day where you honor your time. Confidence grows from small victories repeated. Identity strengthens from consistent choices. Self-respect deepens each time you show up for yourself. Third, one better day can restore your inner peace. Most people live in a constant state of rushing, always behind, always tired, always juggling more than they can handle. But when you guide your day with intention, something soft happens inside you. You feel calmer, you feel lighter, you feel more grounded, because you're no longer fighting the day, you're directing it. Your time becomes a friend, not an enemy. Your work becomes purposeful, not overwhelming. Your mind becomes still, not chaotic. A single meaningful day can remind you what peace actually feels like. Fourth, one better day plants the seeds of the life you want. Think of your future self, the one who feels confident, disciplined, focused, and fulfilled. That version of you is not created overnight. It grows like a garden, seed by seed, day by day. Each day that you use well plants a new seed, a seed of clarity, a seed of discipline, a seed of progress, a seed of inner strength. Eventually, these seeds grow into a life that feels aligned with who you truly want to be. You may not see the progress immediately, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Quiet growth is still growth. Invisible change is still change. Small steps still lead you somewhere. Fifth, one better day is always within your reach. No matter how yesterday went, you can always start again. No matter how long you've been distracted, you can return to intention. No matter how behind you feel, you can choose one thing that moves your life forward. You don't need perfect motivation. You don't need a flawless routine. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You already have everything you need. A new day, a new chance, a new beginning. Your 24 hours are the most powerful resource you have. Not because they're long, but because they're yours. A better life begins with one better day, not someday in the future. Not when everything is perfect. Not when you feel fully ready. It begins the moment you decide to honor your time instead of wasting it. It begins the moment you choose clarity over chaos, presence over distraction, intention over autopilot living. Today is enough. Your 24 hours are enough. You are enough. Make your day count, and your life will follow.